the man. But right now, in this space, you don't have to be any of those things. You just have to be a man who is willing to listen to what he's been missing. You've been told that intimacy is a performance, a race to a finish line. But an older woman, a woman who has seen the rise and fall of many men, knows a secret that would make your blood run hot if you truly understood it. Hello, my loves. I want to talk to you today about the things whispered in the dark. The desires you've suppressed because you thought they were too much, or perhaps because you didn't think a woman could handle them. We are diving into the psychology of the mature feminine and the untapped sexual power of the man who finally learns how to stop doing and start feeling. This isn't just advice. This is an invitation to a version of yourself you haven't met yet. Most men walk through life with a fundamental misunderstanding of what a woman, especially an experienced woman, truly wants from them. You think it's about the hardness of your muscles or the duration of the act. You've been conditioned by a world that values surface over soul. But let me tell you something. From the perspective of a woman who has lived, who has loved, and who understands the intricate machinery of male desire better than you understand it yourself. The most seductive thing you can carry into a room isn't your resume, it's your presence. It's the way you look at her, not like she's a prize to be won, but like she's a mystery. You have the infinite patience to solve. Men don't know this, but we can smell your hesitation. We can feel the moment you move from being with us to being in your head, worrying if you're performing well enough. And in that moment, the magic dies. An older woman doesn't want a performer. She wants a predator who is also a poet. She wants a man who isn't afraid of the messy, liquid, raw reality of sexual surrender. She wants to see the hunger in your eyes that you've been told to keep hidden. Think about the biological reality of the female body. Most men approach it with a clinical curiosity, or worse, a slight discomfort. But a man who truly understands intimacy, he sees those fluids, those scents, as the nectar of his own power. He understands that when a woman opens herself to you in that way, when she is wet, when she is fragrant, when she is unashamed, she is handing you the keys to her kingdom. And if you recoil even for a second, or if you treat it like a chore, you are closing a door that might never open again. I want you to imagine a scenario. You're with a woman who has lived. She knows her body. She isn't the giggling girl of your 20s who is worried about the light being on. She's the woman who wants the light on because she wants to see the look on your face. When you finally taste her, she wants to feel your hands, not tentative, but certain, guiding her where you want her to be. There is a specific kind of intimacy that only happens when a man stops asking for permission and starts claiming the space he's in with a gentleness that is more terrifyingly effective than any force could ever be. You see, the secret is in the pacing. Most men are too fast. You're rushing to the end because you're afraid the fire will go out. But the older woman knows that the best fires are the ones that smolder. We want the slow burn. We want you to spend 20 minutes just looking at the curve of our neck. We want your fingers to trace the line of our inner thigh with the lightness of a feather until our skin is screaming for the weight of your palm. We want the psychological tension of not being touched right up until the moment it becomes unbearable. Do you feel that? That slight tightening in your chest. That's the realization that you've been settling for crumbs when there is a feast waiting for you. Men are taught to be the givers in sex to make her come to satisfy her. It's so exhausting, isn't it? The weight of that responsibility. But here is the life-changing advice. When you learn to find your own primal selfish pleasure in her, when you are so lost in the scent of her skin and the taste of her desire that you forget to perform, that is when she will be the most satisfied because she finally feels desired, not just serviced. As we age, the body changes, but the hunger doesn't go away. It matures. It becomes more complex, like a fine wine. A woman who has moved past the insecurities of youth doesn't need you to be perfect. She needs you to be present. She needs to know that you can handle her intensity. When Dr. Ramani speaks about the safety of oral intimacy, she is speaking to the logic of the mind. But I am speaking to the logic of the heart and the heat of the loins. To swallow, to taste, to breathe in the essence of the woman you are with. It is the ultimate act of acceptance. It tells her, I want every part of you. Nothing about you is hidden from me, and nothing about you is unwanted. Imagine the power shift in the room when you stop being a spectator and become a participant in her biology. When you embrace the salt, the sweetness, and the metallic tang of her life force. This is what men don't know. Your willingness to be consumed by her is what makes her want to be conquered by you. You have to understand the psychological landscape of a woman who has walked this earth for 40, 50, or 60 years. She has been handled by men who were clumsy. She has been handled by men who were selfish. And most often, she has been handled by men who were terrified of her power. When you enter her space, you are not just entering a room. You are entering a history. And the advice I have for you, the advice that will change the way you move through the world, is to stop trying to fix her or don't something to her. Start trying to witness her. Men often ask me, Cydia, how do I keep her interested when the novelty wears off? They think they need new toys, new positions, new gimmicks. They couldn't be more wrong. The novelty isn't in the act. It's in the depth of the intimacy. An older woman's desire is like an ocean. On the surface, it might look calm, but underneath, there are currents that can pull you under if you're brave enough to dive. The life-changing secret is that she wants to be pulled under with you. She wants to see that you aren't afraid of the depths. Think about the moment of oral intimacy. Again, why does it hold so much weight? It's because it's the most vulnerable posture a man can take. You are literally at her feet. You are putting your face, your breath, your very senses into the source of her being. For a woman, watching a man she respects find his own ecstasy and the taste of her. It does something to her brain that no technique can match. It bypasses her logic. It hits the limbic system. It tells her she is a goddess. And tell me, what man wouldn't want to be the one who makes a woman feel like a goddess? But there is a catch. You can't fake this. If you are doing it because you read it in a manual, she will know. If you are doing it because you want a reward later, she will feel the transaction. You must do it because you are genuinely, primally fascinated by her. You must be a student of her reactions. How does her breathing change when you move just a millimeter to the left? What sound does she make in the back of her throat when you use your tongue with the pressure of a thumbprint? This is the men don't know this part. Your observation is her aphrodisiac. Let's talk about the messiness. Society has done a number on you, hasn't it? It's told you that bodies should be sterilized, scented with artificial flowers, and perfectly groomed. What a lie. The scent of a woman's arousal is the oldest perfume in the world. It is the scent of life when you embrace that. When you breathe it in like it's the only air in the room, you are telling her that you accept the animal within her. And when a woman feels her inner animal is accepted, she will give you a level of loyalty and passion that most men only read about in books. I want you to think about the word surrender. Most men think surrender is a feminine trait. They think they have to be the one in control at all times, but the strongest man is the one who can surrender to his own desire without losing his masculine core. Imagine being so overwhelmed by the scent of her, so captivated by the way she arches her back that you let go of the provider mask. You let go of the stoic mask. You become a man driven by a singular, focused intent. That focus is terrifyingly attractive to us. Now consider the physical aspect that Dr. Romani mentioned. The fluids, the lactic acid, the enzymes. These aren't just medical terms. They are the components of a ritual. When you swallow, you are literally taking a part of her into yourself. You are becoming one with her on a molecular level. It's an act of communion. If you approach it with reverence instead of hesitation, you transform a physical act into a spiritual one. And once you've gone there with a woman, no other man will ever be able to compare to you. They will all seem like children playing at love while you are a master of the craft. They won't tell you this in the gym. They won't tell you this in the boardroom. They'll tell you to get a faster car or a bigger watch. But a woman who has lived, she doesn't care about your watch when she's in your arms. She cares about whether you're man enough to look her in the eye when you're between her legs and tell her she tastes like home. She cares about whether you can handle the intensity of her release without flinching. Let's move into the pacing of the act itself. Most men treat foreplay like the opening act of a concert, something to get through so the main event can start. No. For the experienced woman, the build-up is the event. The way you look at her while she's still fully dressed. The way you touch her wrist. The way you whisper what you're going to do to her long before you ever touch a button. You need to build a mental map of her desire before you ever explore the physical one. Men don't know that the brain is the largest sexual organ. If you can occupy her mind, her body will follow without question. You occupy her mind by being unpredictable, by being inconsistent with your touch, sometimes soft, sometimes demanding, by making her wait, by making her wonder. And then when the tension is so thick, it's like a physical weight in the room, that is when you give her exactly what she's been craving. We have so much more to cover. We are going to talk about the oftoire, the way you hold her when the storm has passed, and how that moment determines whether she'll want you again tomorrow. We are going to talk about the specific words that act like keys in a lock. We are going to talk about your own health, your stamina, and how to keep your fire burning bright as the years pass. Don't go anywhere. We are just getting into the heart of the matter. If you can feel the truth in what I'm saying, it's because your body has been waiting for someone to give you permission to be this version of yourself. I am giving you that permission. Let's dive deeper. Gemini said, I want you to think about the word claim, not in the sense of ownership, but in the sense of recognition. When a man claims a moment, he is saying, I am here. I am seeing you and I am not moving. Most men are tourists in a woman's body. They visit the landmarks. They take what they want and they leave. But a man of depth, he is an explorer. He settles in. He learns the terrain. And an older woman, she can tell the difference within the first 10 seconds of your touch. Men don't know this, but your hands have a language of their own. If your hands are searching for a result, searching for a button to press to get a specific reaction, you are already losing her. Your hands should be curious. They should move with the weight of a man who knows he has all the time in the world. When you touch her shoulder or the small of her back, do it as if you are memorizing her skin. This is the psychology of the claim. You are telling her that every inch of her is worthy of your undivided attention. Now let's talk about the physical cues she gives you that most men miss because they are too busy performing. When an experienced woman is truly opening to you, her body doesn't just react, it invites. Look for the way her breath hitches, not when you touch her, but just before you touch her. That anticipatory gap is where the highest form of sexual tension lives. If you can master the art of hovering your lips just an inch away from hers, or your fingers just a hair's breadth from her most sensitive areas, and you stay there, you are creating a vacuum of desire that she will be desperate to fill. And when we talk about the fluids, the nectar we discussed earlier, understand that for a woman, a lubrication is her body's yes, it is her biological surrender. When you encounter that, whether with your fingers or your tongue, you must meet it with a sense of triumph. Not an arrogant triumph, but a joyful one. If you treat her wetness as something to be managed or wiped away, you are insulting her vitality. Instead, use it, spread it, wear it like a badge of honor. When she sees her own desire reflected on your skin, it triggers a feedback loop of arousal that can escalate into something truly transcendent. This is the life-changing advice your peers won't give you. The older woman isn't looking for a man who can last for 2 hours of repetitive motion. She's looking for a man who can hold her gaze while he's doing something incredibly primal to her. She's looking for the man who doesn't look away. When things get intense, in those moments of deep intimacy, when the scents are strong, when the sounds are raw, that is when your masculinity is tested. Can you stay present? Can you keep your eyes open? Can you breathe through the intensity without rushing to finish? There is a specific kind of power in a man's voice during these moments. Don't be silent. Silence can feel like absence, but you don't need dirty talk in the way you've seen it in films. You need truth talk. Tell her how she tastes. Tell her how the scent of her is making your head spin. Tell her that you've been thinking about this specific moment all day. When you narrate your own desire, you give her permission to feel hers. You become the conductor of an orchestra of sensation. As we continue this journey together, I want to address something that many men feel but rarely say: the fear of inadequacy. As they age, you worry about your stamina or the hardness of your performance. Let me tell you, as a woman who understands the soul of a man, your performance is 10% physical and 90% psychological. If you are grounded, if you are certain, and if you are deeply connected to the woman in front of you, your body will follow your intent. And even if it doesn't do exactly what it did when you were 20, the intimacy you create will be 10 times more powerful. Think about the legacy of your touch. When you leave her, do you want her to remember a workout, or do you want her to remember a transformation? The men who know these secrets, the men who listen to the older woman, are the ones who never have to worry about being forgotten. They are the ones who understand that the greatest sexual desire isn't for a body. It's for the feeling of being completely and utterly known. We are going to move now into the final movements of this script. We are going to discuss the ultimate call to action for your life. Not just in the bedroom, but in how you carry this new understanding of intimacy into every interaction you have. We will talk about the outro of your old self and the intro to the master you are becoming. Breathe with me. The best is yet to come. Everything we have discussed, the scents, the tastes, the psychological claiming, the slow burn pacing, it all leads to a single truth. You are a creature of immense capacity. You have been playing small because you were afraid of the too muchness of real intimacy. But an older woman doesn't want just enough. She wants the too much. She wants your full, unadulterated self. This is your new mandate. Carry this presence into your world. Look people in the eye. Listen to the subtext of what women are saying to you. Practice the art of the anticipatory gap in your conversations and your connections. Stop rushing. The world will try to speed you up, but your power lies in your ability to slow down. My dear friends, thank you for walking this path with me today. This has been a journey through the hidden corridors of desire, and I hope you feel a little more equipped, a little more understood, and a lot more inspired. Intimacy is not a skill you mastered. It is a garden you tend. And today you've planted some very powerful seeds. If this conversation touched something deep within you, I invite you to join our circle. Subscribe to this space and share this with a man who needs to hear that his desires are not dirty. They are his strength. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what was the one secret today that shifted your perspective. I read your stories, and they fuel the work we do here. And remember, for those of you who want to support your physical vitality and ensure your body can keep up with your newfound psychological depth, I have put together a collection of resources in the description. From nutritional support to deeper masterclasses on the masculine-feminine dynamic, these are the tools for the man who refuses to settle for an ordinary life. Go forth with confidence, treat her with reverence, and never ever forget the power of the slow burn.